I know that you want to move forward, but it feels like you're living a life running in circles. You clean, but then it's instantly undone. You plan, but something always derails it. And you try, but nothing ever seems to stick. Maybe you've said things like, I don't know where to begin. Nothing I've tried has ever worked. Everything is so unpredictable. I can't get ahead of anything, or I just don't have the energy to figure it out right now. Now, if you've ever felt like you are trapped inside of that survival mode, like your home is a never-ending loop of mess, chaos, and trying to keep up, then this episode is going to shift something for you. Because what if you're not stuck because you're doing it wrong, but because you are doing it without being in sync with your design? We're going to talk about why nothing has worked for you the way that you hoped and what actually does create that lasting change in your home, and it's starting with you. Welcome to the Modern Homemaker Mom podcast. I'm your host, Jynae Schmidt. If you found yourself here, it means that you're ready to break free from overwhelm, create a peaceful, well-run home, and finally live with more structure, margin, and stability. Here you'll find practical rhythms, real-life systems, and faith-filled encouragement you need to simplify your home and reclaim your time so that you can show up fully for the life God is calling you to. Let's get started. Hey friend, before we dive into the episode, let me ask you a question. What would it feel like to walk into your home and actually breathe? To have rhythms that flow with your season instead of fighting against it? To feel steady, clear, and confident in the role God's already equipped you for? That's exactly what I help you create inside the Modern Homemaker Method course. And right now, the best way to step into that transformation is by joining my VIP waitlist. Here's why you want to be on the list. VIPs get first access when the course reopens. They get the only discount that I'm offering and special bonuses you're not going to find anywhere else. But more than that, this is your first step toward a simpler, more peaceful home and a life with margin, clarity, and energy again. So if you're ready to trade survival mode for steady rhythms that honor your season and your God-given design, head to jynaeschmid.com/waitlist or click the link below in the show notes where you can become one of my VIPs. I've got a bit of a shorter episode for you today, but just because it's shorter than my typical episodes doesn't mean it's of any less value. But we're going to dive in by sharing this scripture, a scripture that I've shared here lots on the show. There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1. You know this verse. I've shared it tons of times before. You believe in this verse, but maybe nobody ever told you that it applies to you as well. Not just your schedule, not just your calendar, but your body, your mind, your emotions, your energy. You weren't created to operate in this straight, never-changing line. You were designed with rhythms, with a flow, with natural patterns of rest, patterns of reflection, energy, and focus. But somewhere along the way, the homemaking advice that you were handed told you to keep pushing through, to hustle harder, to stick to the same routine every single day, regardless of how you feel. That is not biblical stewardship. That is burnout. And it's exactly why you're still stuck at home. Not because you're failing, but because you're out of sync. Now, point number 1 that we're going to go over today is you don't know where to begin, not because there's no path, but because you're overwhelmed and you're out of rhythm. Now, you look around your home and you feel like everything is tangled in a mess. The dishes, the toys, don't even get me started on the laundry piles, the screaming toddler, the mental to-do list. I mean, the mental to-do list in and of itself is crazy. And when everything feels like a priority on your list, on your to-dos, on the things that you're doing in a day, nothing actually gets done. You either freeze or you bounce from one thing to the next without finishing anything. You're procrastinating. And this isn't a personal flaw necessarily. It's a symptom of being in the wrong phase of your cycle for the kind of task that you're trying to do. When your brain and body are in that low energy, inward focused phase, but you're forcing yourself to be productive and clear the whole house, it's going to feel like you're wading through really thick mud. It's going to feel tough and hard and almost impossible. The clarity you're craving doesn't come from more trying, from doing more, from trying harder. It comes from pulling one thread at a time and pulling it in the right season. Now that's what syncing with your natural feminine design teaches you to do. Point number 2 is you feel like nothing has worked, but what if those systems were never made for women living in seasons? Now, you've probably tried out the printables, the color-coded routines, the Pinterest perfect schedules, or you've gone on YouTube and seen what you can find on there, and maybe they worked, maybe they didn't. Maybe they worked for a week, 2 weeks, maybe even a month, or until the baby started teething, or until you got sick, or until your energy tanked. And then everything unravels again. And what do? You start blaming yourself. But what if it wasn't you that failed? Like, what if it actually wasn't about you being a failure? What if it was that the system that you were trying to follow wasn't built to flex with your life? Because, most systems out there are built for this linear productivity, but you are not linear. Like, you do not stay the same all the time. You are always changing. God designed your body with a rhythm, with a monthly cycle that affects how you feel, that affects what kind of work flows easily for you, when you need rest, when you are ready to act and get things done. And in the Modern Homemaker Method course, we don't just start with the systems. We start with syncing your home to your body's natural rhythm, because that's what makes the piece sustainable. Now, point number 3 is you keep reacting because you've built your days on this sense of urgency instead of alignment. The noise, the mess, the constant interruptions, it keeps you in reaction mode. You wake up already feeling behind. You don't have the margin to think ahead because you're buried by what's in front of you, what you need to get done in the day. But what if you could build rhythms that did some of that thinking for you? What if your home ran on this gentle structure that adapted to your season and even gave you that space to rest, that space that most of us feel like, yeah, that's not happening, or maybe for another day, and you end up actually never prioritizing the rest. So what if you actually had a structure and a rhythm that allowed that for you? When you learn how to align your tasks with your feminine, God-given design, you stop fighting your days and you start leading them. Now, this is a shift that pulls you out of that stuck cycle, not because your life is suddenly perfect and you're getting it all right 100%, but because your rhythms are now anchored. Now, point number 4, final point. You are waiting for the perfect time, but your body already gives you one every single month. Now, you keep waiting to start something until things settle down. Once we move, once I'm pregnant, once I get more sleep, once the baby's weaned, like all these things, whatever that looks like for you. But life, here's the thing, wake up call, life doesn't pause so that we can catch up. But the good news is that God already built a reset into your design. You have those days where you feel like, oh, I just wish I could hit a reset button, or those weeks where it's like, oh, this week has just been a week. I need a reset. Well, there actually is already a reset in your design if you were aware of what your design was. Your feminine design that God made for you begins again every single month. It resets every single month, and it gives you a natural rhythm of rest, reset, reflection, and new momentum. Every month it does this. You go through this every single month in different phases. And this is where we begin inside of my program. Not with the hustle, not with the schedules, but with your body's natural reset point. Because you are the foundation, and your home will only rise as high as your own alignment. Now, let's go back and reframe all of this together. You're not just stuck because you're doing it wrong. You are stuck because you've been doing it totally out of sync. You're not failing the systems. You're trying to force systems that don't flex with your body, with your natural design, with the season of life that you're going through. You're not disorganized. You've just never had a rhythm that reflects your actual life. And the beautiful truth of all of this is you don't have to wait for later. You don't have to keep sitting there waiting for the perfect moment, because your body was made with a rhythm that is ready to lead you back to that peace that you're craving. What if the first step to shifting your home is syncing your life to the design that God already placed inside you? He made that design in you when you were created. Now, if you're starting to realize that the reason that nothing has stuck in the past isn't because you failed, but because no one ever taught you how to live in sync with how you were designed, then this is your next step. The Modern Homemaker Method is where I guide you through the exact framework that I mentioned today, that we talked through today in today's episode, the framework that is going to help you rebuild your rhythms from the inside out, starting with you. Now, doors open soon. I don't have an exact date yet, but doors are opening fairly soon. But right now, while we wait for the doors to the course to open, the waitlist is open. And that's where you can get first access, you can gain early enrollment, and my VIP only discount. To join the waitlist, you can head down to the show notes below this episode where there will be a link for you to join, or go directly to jynaeschmid.com/waitlist to get on the list and become one of my VIPs. Now, if today's episode made something quick, the course will help you carry it forward. It will take you to that next step. Now, thank you so much for tuning in today. I'll see you again next week. Did something in today's episode encourage you? If it did, would you take a minute to hit subscribe and leave a quick review? It's such a simple way to support this show and help other homemakers find this encouragement as well. And if you're looking for even more support in your homemaking journey, come join our free Facebook group. Just head over to bit.ly/homeroutines. Thanks for tuning in today. I'll see you in the next episode.